Group 2, please listen to their evaluation and to their comments because you need to incorporate them when you revise your paper. So only groups 1 and 2 should be here. The others, please, you need to get out. So only Elizabeth Ortiz, only groups 1 and 2 should be here in Zoom. The others, no. You have to get out of the room. Ortiz, Gallegos, Masa, Patino, Medina, Musa, and then Leon, Velez, Bautista, Ojeda, and Calle. Axel.
Okay. Okay, teacher. Good morning, teacher and classmates. And my group is going to present the evaluation of the test of the other group. So as the first part, we have the section A, which show that the group's test has the respective name of the authors. However, the test doesn't have the title of the unit. Since we analyzed that the title of their unit is "Who Are You?" and not the planet. The planet was just an example of the teacher. Besides that, they have the result used for the content for the test, and the test has the year of the students, which is 8th grade.
Okay, teacher. Now we're going to evaluate the task, and as you can see, the document present the topic. Also, present the objectives in a specific order. Each item show what type of test it is, but it doesn't show a date and placement. However, the number of items for each test type is explicit, as you can see.
Later, can you continue? Teacher lady, I don't know if she has some problems with her internet, but in the first part we have the objectives are well constructed, use verbs and clear ideas. For our point of view, we see that the objectives we put poor because the objectives are not constructed well, and also they don't specify the purpose of this activity. Well, as the second part, we have the construction of the objectives hits the higher order thinking skills. More than 60% of the objectives developed HOT, and we put in this part excellent because according to the objectives, the specific.
Sorry, Ellie, but I'm not looking at any document now, so I'm lost. Where is the document about grade?
About grade, that is the, in a sec.
You have 3 minutes. Huh?
Yes. Yeah. We put this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is the document. We put this part. Well, because the objectives of the group are the 70% that is host, and for this reason we put excellent. Also, the third part we have if each appropriate test. Oh my gosh. Yeah, in this part. Is if each type of test is appropriate to specify the objects and the target content, and we put in this part good because most of the tests are well for the objective of the test, but in sometimes the type of test is not according to the objective. For example, the first part, they have analysis, but it is also more is empty, but there isn't for this type of test. This type of objectives, the excellent type of test. And as the fourth part, we have if the precision of numbers of item correspond to formulate objectives, and when we review the test, we found that only the 43% corresponds to hot, and then the other is to lower. And that is the reason what we need to put in this part. We put but continue, please.
Okay, in the 5 part about the test items enable test takers to use the text to answer and not resort to guessing, we choose fair because it is evident that most of the items are correctly developed to use the knowledge. However, in the third part of the test, the answers become very obvious because they are accompanied by choices that are obviously not the correct ones. And the next part, when reviewing the questionnaire, it is observed that there are no mistakes in grammar, in words and questions, or the text, making it easier for the students not to get confused. Um, the only exception is the errors in the wrong answers, which is very good because that is why the incorrect answers are differentiated from the correct answers.
Chicos,
Okay,
time
now we
is
have
up.
the
Time is up. It's 8:08 now. 1 more minute, yeah, Angie, please.
okay. Sorry. Now we have the test is valid. So we put fair because the test only covers some part of the unit. Yeah, which affect the result expected to be found in the student's performance. In addition to that, some questions are designed in a very simple way to what they need, which makes the cognitive level of the question not to fulfill their function. All the mistakes, the test doesn't have a strongly validity.
Okay, now the term number 8, the test is practical. Well, in this case, our choice was very right because test has to be adapted to appropriate practical skill and techniques. It means the test it has to follow a specific and necessary standards to make sure that this is going to cover the student's needs and assess the student knowledge. And for our point of view, to apply this test, some aspects need to be corrected and modified. So this test can't be applied because it doesn't accomplish the requirements.
Okay, now in the first night of the evaluation, in the listening part, there are some confusing as some image could be evaluated as correct. This will not affect the result of the answer, but affect the student. So it is a point that must take into account. Okay, and so finally, in the 10th part of the evaluation, here is also good because in the test, for our point of view, all the instructions are grammatically correct and exact because it is
Sorry,
understand
chicos, it's time. Group 2, it's your turn. Okay, we have to really stick to the time. Otherwise, there will be spillovers. Group 2, it's your time.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is a peer evaluation about group 1. Okay, we're going to start. According to the first aspect, we gave them a rating of excellence since we consider the objectives were constructed with clear ideas and a good point of purpose. According to the second aspect, we gave them a rating of poor since in this case, the objectives don't hit the higher order thinking skills since as we can appreciate in part 5 of the tabulation, or in this case, the table of the specification, there is a mistake that was wrong calculated. Because if we sum this item with the other ones, they have 63.1%, which is correct, but making the correct tabulation over 100%, they have 59.98%.
Sorry, since I'm not seeing the TOS. It's a checklist. Okay.
But you
Continue.
okay.
Yeah, you may continue.
Now, in the item number 3, the item construction has no relation with the objective because the stable construction says different two similar words in a different meaning. But the instruction of the question says fill in the blank with the correct words from the table. So we can say that it is not giving two optional words to choose which one works better according to the context. And they are just providing the item construction has no relation with the objective. Okay, in number 4, here is a big problem because they have, for example, in the document they have item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, and item 5, making this a big problem in the tabulation part. For example, according to the test, we can see the 5 parts. However, in the TOS, they have 6 items. So they have presenting 2 items with the same number, making this quite complicated to understand. On the other hand, the sum doesn't coincide with the total average of 100% in the tabulation. Some items without decimals are not raised to the higher one. In the case, then item number 5, there is a mistake because if you have 3 items, you must do the operation 3 multiplied by 100, that is 200. 200 divided by 30 is 10, but they put it 13.3, making this a problem in the tabulation.
Okay, in item number 5, in some questions or items, there is a lack of text takers. So for the level of these students, it could be hard to understand what they need to do. And however, there is a lack of blank work, and it is and it has a lot of distractors. For one question, I saw that they have like 4 distractions, and the questions had like 6 items. And for one questions, there are more than 5 words that are distractor, and there are specified that in the instructions, but according to this text, it is complex to have too many distractions because the item it was short. In the item 6, there are some small factors to take into account, such as capital letters about the errors, capital letters, punctuation signs, infinitive verbs that, or like you can make it gerund verbs or infinitive verbs. There are some repeated words. Also, there are some different words that can change the text in the reading part. For example, the photograph instead of photo, and you also repeat some words in that text. And the singular and plural words, like you forgot to with the auxiliary or put the right word if it is singular or plural, and the verb rules with the third person.
Okay, well, the test is valid since we know that validity refers to the if the text measure what it's supposed to measure. We can say that the test covered the 4 from the English book that they put into practice this test that measure the 4 English skills. They try to measure the 4 English skills like in speaking, reading, writing, and listening. However, there are some inconsistencies because in the case of the listening part, in the first part, we see that there is missing like a specific topic. It talks about seems like a past tense, but in the case of the objectives, they don't talk about it. So we can see that. Another example is in the speaking part, because we recommend for the speaking part using a rubric. In the last question about the consonant T is mentioned. In this part, this question will almost not be part of the speaking because they need only to pronounce, read and pronounce. It could be better, in this case, a rubric. If the test is practical, as we know, we could put fair because the test demonstrates practically it is easy to design. it is easy to administer the test to the students. But in the case of considering the level of English and the students, we could recommend to specify the instructions and the readings reduce a little bit to improve the time for the students. In the case of the filling in the blank questions, we could reduce the number of words because they are 5 answers correct and another 5 extra answers. So maybe we can focus, the students can focus on the specific answers.
Number 9, each item has one correct answer. According to the document, there are no items with accurate answers. And this is a problem because students can get distracted and confused, and everybody will not understand that they what they need to do in the question. So while clearing each item a correct answer, it will be easy to identify what they need to do in that question. And the number 10 is the instructions are clear and well written. We thought that the instructions aren't well written. There are missing some words in blown, and also there are parts that are missing words, which makes it hard to understand some instructions. But on the other hand, the question statement is written twice. Thank you.
Is everybody done, group 2? Are you all done? Yes? Okay,
Yes,
I'm waiting for a time. Thank you so much. Thank you, group 1 and 2. Thank you for your presentation. This is recorded because the moment you revise, you will return to this video to incorporate all your classmates' comments and suggestions. But you need to wait for me because I need to validate if the comments are correct or not. You may leave the virtual classroom and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah? Thank you. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
And number 10, the instructions are clear and well written, which is excellent. Because here we have an example in part four. They put match the words in column A with the correct definition in column B. So it is easy to understand, and the use of the verbs is correct too. So they show what the students are supposed to do. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, group 3. That was awesome. Fabulous. Fantastic. You raised the roof. Gosh, I am super impressed. Thank you, group 3. Yeah, very good. Well done. Well done. Super clear. Group 4, it's your turn now. So it's now your turn, group 3, to listen to their explanations. Yeah. And
Okay,
learn
good
from
morning,
their
everyone. Okay, thank you, teacher. Sorry. Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, we are grouped at number 4. So we are going to see only the test, draft test question. Okay, as you can see, there is a, it
Neha,
has
make it
a
bigger.
topic.
Maria, magnify
Yes,
it. It's so small. Can you do it? Magnify. Click the plus sign.
I don't know what you say.
Make the view bigger. It's so small.
Oh, okay, let me see.
Relax, Phil, relax.
Okay. Yeah, you can see, can you see? Yes, okay. As you can see, it has the title. Okay, first of all, it doesn't follow the template, but it has the title, and the level of the students, and the name of the authors, but it doesn't have the source of the content after the unit title. Also, there are some items, but each question, for example, the question 2 had 2 items. On the table of contents, I don't know, you can see the table of specifications. Okay. Here we have the topic, we have the objectives, yes, and the type of test, and the 4 type of test, multiple choice, matching type, fill in the blanks, and true or false. But the item placement is incorrect because the questions are written here instead of the items. So each question has one objective, and there are an excess, so the items and objectives. Okay, by the way, also we realized that the first 4 questions have some problems, are not well constructed. For example, the first question have 2 similar options. The second question, the instruction is unclear because of this word, or we can put the and instead of or. And also the pictures can be, should be ordered on columns for the students can match easily and tidily. The third question, for example, the answers must be eliminated from here. And the fourth question, for example, the students can easily respond in this case because the letter A and D can be eliminated because we have 5 statements instead of 4. So the students can guess this question. Okay, can you continue, Kathy, please? I don't know.
Okay. In the part of the question 5, the oral communication, if I see the test construction, I didn't catch it well. It is multiple choice or matching type because so many cases in oral communication, they have to make a dialogue. But in the case of the topics that have made use of the subtopics in general, however, they are not based on the subtopics of the lesson based on the model. So I see they do not match the purpose of the instruction and the item. And also the reading section, they have 2 reading sections, they have 2 readings, and it consumes time. And I see the question is very well, but the number 5 communication, I didn't catch it a lot. So they do not match the purpose. And also The item placement are repeated some numbers, whatever doesn't make sense, and the items are disorganized, so the targets are the same. Also, in the reading section, I told that before, they have consumes time, and it takes a lot of time when at the moment the students take the test, and the items do not list well. I see that before. Continue with Javier, please.
Right, so according to the items, as my classmate said, in some case we can see clearly that the items allow the examiners to use the text to answer and not simply guess the answer. So for example, in the reading, so as Betty said, so it's true that we have a lot of reading, but in this part of reading, so the answers of this reading, the items of the reading, it's according to the reading, and for that the students will answer with the text, not just simple guess the answer. And I mean, since the other items are good structured because they are part of the text too, but they are not the correct answer. So you can see we have, for example, in the number 10, 11, and 12, we have a multiple choice. And here we have the other options are part of the text. And also it's important to make sure that the questions are not difficult or very easy for the students. On the other hand, based on the same example that I mentioned in the number 10, 11, and 12, each type of test is appropriate for the specific object. Because for example, here we have the type of test multiple choice. And here what we need to do is identify which is the correct answer within the all topics. And so this multiple choice is according to identify the main answer here. And so yeah. So next slide, please.
The objectives are consistent with most of the questions, but have a general focus, even though they emphasize on a single point of the question. And moreover, some objectives are not correctly structured and do not match the verb of the question, as in the case of item 13, and not make use of appropriate verb based on the cognitive level of the question, as in the case of the item 14. On the other hand, the percentage of the objectives of higher order thinking skills is below the 60%. Since most of the objectives I'm at lower order thinking skills because the verbs used for some items do not match the cognitive level indicated in the evaluation tool. So finally, we think that the questions are not very well structured because they do not use the verbs correctly. In addition, there are parts that could be improved to facilitate the understanding of the instructions. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you.
That was very comprehensive explanation, chicos, chicas. So you still have 2 more minutes, but you're done. So it's okay. So chicos, you may leave the virtual classroom now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Well done. Both groups are really good. Well done. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Good teacher, bye.
Teacher, I want to
Hi, Maria.
Yeah, only for my camera because I don't know what happened, but sometimes my camera turned off. So sorry
It's
for
okay.
that.
No
Sorry.
worries. Relax. No worries, Maria. You did well.
Thank you,
Okay.
teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning. Good morning, Group 6. There's our revelation according with the creation of the evaluation. As you can see, there are some important aspects in the first part. The heading is the following details. The names and author of our classmates are good. Can you down, please? Maybe we have a problem with the title on the session title because our classmate put in a bad way that, and we can find that in good at correct because they make a quote and not pay the enough interest in this part. Okay, now my class.
Okay, in the first item, we have the objectives are well constructed, use of verbs, and clear ideas. In this case, we take import because there are an incorrect use of verbs and in the objectives, and this generates that there isn't a correct relationship with the cognitive levels that are proposed to reach. For example, in the item conjunctions, the word solve, it isn't a correct word for the cognitive level, in this case, evaluate. And another situation here is that there aren't a clear and there are poor objectives because there is a mixture of ideas with instructions. For example, in the item vocabulary related to habits, we have the same instruction in the test and the object, only change a word. In the second is good. About the third one, each type of test is appropriate for the specific objective and target content. And we think fair because there are some inconsistencies and maybe it's a little difficult to score for that test evaluation. For example, you mentioned that writing skills and the speaking skills is a type of test, but these two elements are not part of the four types of tests that we know. So next, my partner.
Okay, and the number 4, the prioritization of the number of the items correspond on to formulate objectives. We are put very poor because we consider it to be unqualifiable because in some questions where the difficult value is 1, but there are 5 or more items. And in this case, they will have to divide the 1 depending on the number of the items. But in this question or this item is confused where we use qualify this type of the question, sorry. And so we consider it to be inconsistent and unqualifiable. In addition, in the question of the writing skill, it is well unqualifiable according to the structure that used in this test. Because we don't have a structure to follow or the how to qualify this type of question, because in the writing skill there isn't a specific specific answer. Okay, the number 8, sorry, the test is practical. They put the fair because according to some parameters that consider to know if the test is practical, it isn't fulfilled because the test is too long to do. Also, if we consider time that is had to able to carry it out, because the student won't have enough time to answer correctly or the think or analyze better each question, because according to the time in the public or private school, 1 hour of the class equivals to 4 minutes, and so in this time need to complete the test, but so the student don't enough time to complete. In addition, this test is only unit the test, it is necessary to longer, and also the excessive use audio in the test, and C is not practical.
Okay, teacher, classmates. The question number 9 is each item has a correct answer. There's a problem because the majority of the test is good constructed, but there is a part where is written, where the instruction is write a paragraph with 100 or 150 words, where it's not a specification about how will be qualified. So for this reason, we think that it's unqualifiable questions. There are no parameters to qualify that, and it's too long, as my classmate said, to be unit quiz. Also, there is a speaking part where there are parameters, but it's not there are not a specific parameters to this part. As you know, a unit quiz should be easy to qualify and comprehensible for students. We think that it's bad developed. And the number 10 say the instructions are clear and well written. As I already said, there are two questions which have this problem. It's a writing and a speaking part. In writing, only said write a paragraph with 100 words according with all topics, and it's unqualifiable for us because they are not specific to topics, and in the objectives there are developed. So for this reason, we think that this question is bad developed. So the grading are not clear, and it could be affect the performance on students in this part of the exam. Also, and for the last thing, is that they should try to organize in a better way how they apply the different items and answers, because as my classmate said, there are questions which are valued with one item, but there are 5 difficulties. So it's difficult for a different teacher try to understand how qualify these questions. And thank you, teacher. It was all. And thank you, classmates.
Thank you, group 5. Now is the turn of group 6 to present, and for group 5 to take note of their suggestions and recommendations. Group 6, it's your turn. Share your screen.
Okay, teacher, give me a second, please. Okay, pass, please. Just
Okay. Good morning, teacher. Good morning, classmates. This is our peer evaluation. So we start. First, we have in the part A, the checklist. In the aspect number 1, the hidden bears the following details. It's evident that the names of the test authors, the unit title, the main resource used, the year level of the students is evident. And the second part is the TOS shows the following details, like topic, objectives, type of test, item placement, number of items for each type of test, and 4 types of test. It also is evident.
Okay, the part B, the quality of the text, aspect number 1. The objectives are well constructed, use of verbs and clear ideas. It is good, all the verbs are related to the cognitive levels. They use verbs in infinitive based on the Bloom's taxonomy, and the ideas are kind of clear. The second aspect, the construction of the objectives hits the high order skills. More than 60% of the objectives develop HOTS. This is poor because, guys, you have to use all the cognitive levels, not only 2. Also categorize is not a cognitive level.
Okay, and the aspect 3, each type of test is appropriate to the specified objective and the target content. Our qualification here is fair, and our comment is because we could see in that group has a lot of filling in the blanks in different questions. Filling in the blanks will be better with higher order thinking skills. In the writing and the speaking section, you don't need to use these types of tests.
Okay, now about the number 4, the prioritization of the number of items corresponds to formulate objectives. We put fair here because as you can see here in the table of specifications, it will be better to order all the type of tests and divide each part according to the type of test. For example, part 1, fill in the blanks, part 2, multiple choice. And also in this way, you can have more items in each part. For example, here, part 1 from 1 to 5, and in the same way with the different parts. For example, here, part 2, no, I think it's part 2, multiple choice, items 11 to 15, maybe, and so on.
Okay, the 5 is the test items enable test takers to use the text to answer and not resort to the guessing. And here with qualification is good because the exam was correct except for one question. That question is the structure is the from item 21 and 26. Here we can see the students need to guess the result, and here questions and for our qualification.
Okay, now the number 6, the sentence and structure, grammar, use of words and convention are error-free. Yeah, that is correct. We put good because everything is good, but there is one question that they have one error, and this question is a number 7. Yeah, here you can see in the option D, the word them is missing. All of them are correct, and yeah, the rest is good.
Okay, now we have the part 7 and the test is valid. We choose good because it goes according to the level of the students and it is created to measure their knowledge in an adequate way. And the part 8 also we choose good because the test is practical since it is easy to perform and apply besides being easy to grade.
Okay, and the last part, the part 9, this part is considered excellent because each question has only one answer. And the part 10, we consider very poor because only 2 instructions are completed. The rest of the parts have not instructions, input and expected response. And also some parts don't have instructions. As you can see in the first part of the listening, there is instruction, there is expected response, but the input is missing. And the part of reading, as you can see, we don't have the instruction, only have a reading, and that's it for my part.
That's all, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, group 6. So very good presentations to both groups. And that's it. You may leave the virtual classroom because I still have one student to listen to. And see you tomorrow because I will finalize your grades this afternoon. Everything's complete now with this. I'll see you tomorrow. You need to check your grades, yeah? Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Claire.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay. This test is from Esteban Pacheco, Olita Mejia, and Evelyn Peralta. So the first part is the hidden bear the following details. In this case, the names of text authors very evident, and the unit title, session title is, and there is evident. The main resource, use a source of the content, there is evident. The year level of the students, there is evident. The host shows the following details: topic, objectives, type of test, item placement, there is evident. The number of the item for each type of test, and there is evident. However, I didn't found true or false in this test. The aspect, the objectives are well constructed, use of verbs, clear ideas. In some topics, the objectives are repeated, as well as the use of clear verbs and ideas. I will recommend using a specific objective for each step, for each topic. The construction of the objectives is higher order thinking skills. More than 60% of the objectives develop host. Some objectives do not meet a higher order thinking skill, as they are rather simple. And number 3, each type of test is appropriate to specify objective, and the target context is fair. The prioritization of the number of items correspond to formulate objectives also is fair, I think. The test items enable test takers to use the text of to answer and resort to guessing. Not completely, since the text is somewhat complex. And the sentence structure, grammar, use of words and conventions are error-free. And there are some grammatical errors, but that's it. The test is valid. I put fair. The test is practical. I put poor. Each item has one correct answer. I put excellent, because all items have the one correct answer. And the instructions are clear and well reading. I put poor because I would advise in using examples so that the students are more familiar with the statement. Basically that, and that's it, I guess.
What about the checklist? No, not the checklist, the Likert scale. Is it the Likert scale? No, that's a checklist. That's the Likert scale, Santi.
What is all, I guess. And the top is the text of my partners,
Have you explained
classmates.
all those Likert scale items? Yes, you did. The Likert scale. The one where it's
Uh,
good, very good, fair, excellent. Have you explained those items?
in this table,
No, the Likert scale, the next one. That one. Ah, yeah. You have it.
I just found.
Yeah. Okay, Sandra,
Yes,
that's it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. See you
thank
tomorrow.
you, teacher. See you.